welcome back to this channel on the My Journey to America podcast. And today we have a special guest. I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself. But yes, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe on this channel. My friend, we go way back from Jamaica into the military. I know we're here on a different platform, different stratosphere, and we're about to have this conversation. Jerome.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead. Introduce yourself. Tell the people
respect father
where in
wife.
Jamaica you're from. Yeah.
I'm born and grow Kingston, Constitutional St. Andrew, deep in the hills, I'm a hill boy. We call it hill
Yeah.
grounds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And I never knew you grew up in Kingston.
yeah, Kingston, yeah. In St. Andrew Hills. It's close to Dallas. A lot of people when we say Constitution Hill, they oftentimes take it for Dallas Castle because it's more of a popular place.
Yeah.
And I think Constitution Hill is not really well known, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So usually people would associate Constitution Hill with Dallas Castle because I guess they got an attraction, waterfalls down there. So that's basically where I grew up. You know what I mean? In that community.
What was it like growing up in Kingston? And how many siblings?
So I have four siblings, two brother, two sister. I'm the second one.
Or you fall
Well,
under the second?
one of my little brother died. The
Oh,
last one in 2013.
wow. Sorry about
No.
that. So even when your dad was in the military, you
Yes,
agree?
yes. Yes, it that was one of the most challenging times of my journey. Losing a little brother. He just went to school and was just playing and dropped down and we get a call that they taking him to the hospital.
Yeah.
And by the time my mom get there, the doctors came out and told him that he didn't make it,
Oh,
it was a tough time, man. Like accepting it, like you have a little brother that you're growing and you're grooming all this time, and it just passed away just like that with no explanation. It was very difficult.
wow. You
Yeah.
know, Jerome, most people growing up, especially where you grew up in Kingston, right? Up in the hills.
Yeah.
You went and you joined the military. But most people, unfortunately, some people kind of blame where they come from, why they don't push out to be different. That it could be an example. But you went ahead and you joined the military. What do you think attributed to that? Why you said, I'm going to get out, I'm going to be different?
So the story behind that is I was 17 at the time, just got out of high school.
Which high school
And
you went to, by the way?
I went to Papine High School.
Oh, you went to Papine, okay.
Papine High School, yeah. So I was applying for jobs, and I would never get a call. And the calls that I do get, after I go on the interview, I never get the next one. And so during the summertime, I used to work on the coffee farm.
Yeah,
That's
you guys had
up
a
in
lot
the
of
hill.
coffee up
Yeah,
there. You guys
I
had a lot
was
of
picking
coffee.
coffee. Yeah, I was picking coffee up there, and you know, Wiley, that process humbled me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The I used to walk like miles to get there, and then to actually the process of picking the coffee is one that's very how would I put it? I wouldn't say it's challenging because we know that it's green or red. We'll pick it, right? But
Yeah.
the trees, some of the trees are taller, right?
Mm.
And after you pick a certain amount of coffee,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that we have on our waist was, we call it a budger.
Yeah.
That used to get really heavy, right?
Wow.
And I would really struggle to like pick one box of coffee, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they basically measure it by the box,
Yes.
and they gotta pick a certain amount to fill that box to get one box, right?
Yeah.
And that was it was hard for me to even pick a box of coffee, as you know, and I saw my grandmother because she was the one who actually take me, right? She much older than I was at the time, much weaker than I was, right?
Yeah.
And she would pick 3 to 4 boxes of coffee for the day. And I couldn't pick
Mhm.
one, as young
Wow.
as I was, right? And that teach me a lot about experience, you know what I mean? Um, and and determination, you know. I
How old
started
was your grandmother at the time?
she was uh I think she was like 65 because
Okay.
she's in her 70s, in almost 80s, right? And she just her sheer strength and
Yeah.
determination. You know what I mean? Ongoing. She she teach me a lot, man, about determination. And she would make sure she pick her 4 or 5 bucks of coffee per day. And
Mm-hmm.
I can remember up there, I got a call from Lorenzo Burke. Me and him went to high school together.
Who is
And
Lauren Burke?
Lorenzo Burke, we went to high school together. We played international hockey. So we were on the hockey team, right? And I can
So you
vividly
were you
remember.
were playing hockey for Papine while you were
Yeah,
in high school. What you were
yeah,
playing hockey for Jamaica while you were in high school?
yes. So
I
so
I
my
never knew
first,
that.
yeah, so my first time I made the under 19 hockey team was when I was 15 years old. And we made the team. We traveled to Cuba on my first tour, and that was where my international hockey started out, right? We played pretty good. We weren't successful. Obviously, we were underprepared, and we didn't have a lot of experience at the time. But I I scored one of the goal, the only goal we got 17-1, and I scored that one goal, against Argentina, and it was highlighted in Jamaica, and hey, I was happy, man.
Yeah.
Even though we lose by 17, I
Yes.
was really happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember getting that call from Lorenzo, um, and I was actually in the bush at the time, in the coffee tree, picking
Yes.
coffee, and I got a call from Lorenzo. And Lorenzo said, "But Mr. Barrett, he was a captain. Yeah, well, at the time he was a lieutenant, second lieutenant,
Yeah. Oh, in the military.
from from 3GR, yeah. So Lorenzo told me that Barrett called him, and he wanted me and Lorenzo to come and take the army test. Remember, I was 17, right? And I
Yes.
was like, army test. Right away, I'm like, damn, ain't people in the army get shot? You know what I mean? Because at the
Yes.
time, I got so nervous. And I can remember sitting, I came out one of the tree, and I was sitting there, and I was like, army test tomorrow. And right at that time, I made up my mind and said, army test. I'm going to the army test. So I was actually picking the coffee at the time, and I was struggling, man. I literally break down inside of the coffee, inside of in the field. And I started to cry, man. Literally crying. And I could remember this guy, we call him Edgar, was passing by and saw me, right?
Yeah.
And quickly I started to wipe out the tears, and you know what I mean? Because I didn't want to see me that emotional. And you know, you asked me if I was okay, and I was like, yeah, you know, and um right away, I think it was 12 o'clock that day, I took the coffee that I already picked and I took it to my grandmother. And I give it to her and I told her that I get an interview that I'm gonna get ready for to go tomorrow. And I walk all the way down the track, determined that I'm going to join the army. Um, turn up the day for the test. So when Lorenzo got the instructions, like when he got the information,
Yeah.
he didn't tell me that I was supposed to dress in like, you know, proper dress gear, right? So I wear my jeans pants, cut up jeans pants and a t-shirt. Now when I went there, at the time his name was Sergeant Grant. Very
Yes.
good sergeant, man. Um he I went to the gate and they said, where you going like that? And they run me back, run me home, send me
So
back
you
home.
never get to do the army
I never get to do the test that
interview at the
morning,
time.
right? But as determined as I was, he said to me, if you can go home and change and come back, I can still let you do the test. So while Lorenzo was there taking the test, um, I I literally ran from camp to Crossroad to take a taxi to Papine.
Wow.
Literally run from camp, from 3J upper camp to Crossroad to take a taxi to Papine.
And you're all the way in the back.
Yes, 3JR, yeah.
That tree, the
Yeah.
reserve is all the way in the back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And made it to Crossroad and I reached Papine and it started to rain. I called my brother because my brother was home at the time, right? I called my brother and I asked him if he could iron a suit for me.
Yes.
He found the suit, he ironed the shirt and the tie and stuff like that. And while I was waiting on a bus to get home, it was difficult because at that time, it's only one bus run. And that bus was Bieber. That guy, his name was Bieber.
Yeah.
And Bieber took his own little time to make it up. So I made it home and my brother just bought his car at that time. And my brother, bigger brother named Kiwan, he was the one who took me back to Upper Camp. He took me back to Upper Camp and I went in and I took the test. Took the
Wow.
test. At this point, I never really, I didn't even, I wasn't prepared for anything because, like I said, I got the interview, the
The
notice
day
for
before.
interview the day before. So I just went there and just took the test. So after I went in and took the test, Sergeant Grant came out and said, well, I got good news and bad news. Which one you want first? So I said, well, I said, well, give me the good news first. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you know, it is what it is at this point. So he said to me, one of you passed and one of you didn't. One of you passed and one of you didn't. So I was nervous now, man. I was like, can't believe I come all this way and I failed. And then soon after, he said, he sent both of us out of the room. Probably didn't want to, you know, say which one passed right in front of us. So he sent each one of us out of the room. And when I came back in, because he talked to Lorenzo first. So when I came back in, he said, can you come Thursday for medical? And I said, yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then, he gave me a paper and stuff and said, congratulations. And I took the paper and I
So
came
Lorenzo
outside.
is your friend?
Yeah, Lorenzo is my good friend. Yeah, we went to high school together. We played national hockey together. We were in the same hockey club, Sharps Hockey Club. So we know each other. We were real good friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so within that with the paper that he gave me, because at this point my mom didn't know that I was gonna join, right? He told me in order for me to join or start training, I would have to get permission from my mom. So I need a letter.
You were 17.
Yeah, because I was 17 years old. So I went home, and this was the first time I tell my mom that I'm joining the army, right?
Yeah.
And I told her that I did the interview and I did the test, and I told her, hey, that's what I'm going to do. So, she did write the letter, give me the letter, and I think I started training about a month after.
Which year was this?
It was 2006.
Okay. Take
2006. So just as I got out of high school, because I got out of high school 2005, and was struggling to find work up until
Yeah.
So in February 2006, first, second 2006, I started training.
Jero,
Yes.
how did you found hockey?
So how I found hockey. So high school in 2003, I saw this me and another guy, his name is Kemar Bailey, grew up in the
Yeah.
same community. We went to the same all age school. We went to the
Yeah.
same public school, and we went to the same high school.
Yeah.
So one day I saw him walking with a piece of stick. So I was like, "What kind of stick that? And what are you doing with that?" And I tried out for football,
Yeah.
and unfortunately I didn't make the football team, right?
Yeah.
So, at the time they were actually recruiting personnel for hockey.
Yeah.
Um, and I started with this stick. So he told me, he said, it's hockey. It's called hockey. So I was like, every Jamaican I gotta say hockey. Oh, they eat hockey one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And he said to me, you can play. And he actually took me to the coach. Her name is Andrea Ho.
Yeah.
And then they signed me up. Andrea Ho played a real big part of my well-being, my growing up, going to high school. And she played a real big part of um in terms of discipline in my life.
Yeah.
And I will always be grateful to her, you know what I mean? So I don't know if she will see this, hopefully she will,
She
but
probably was.
Andrea played a real big, she had a real big impact in my life, right? Very good lady, man. Like I'll tell you, she is
Yeah.
like a mother to me, you know what I mean? And so she signed me up and we started training. The first day I went to training, I didn't have a shoes because at the time we were struggling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um
So you never had a shoes even to play
I
the
never
game.
had sneakers, yeah. And I needed the sneakers to play.
Yeah.
So my bigger brother, his his foot is smaller than his foot is smaller than mine, but you know what I mean? Because I'm bigger body than he is, right?
Yeah.
And I remember borrowing one of his shoes, which is
Oh my
smaller
God.
than my foot, and take it to play, right? And that day was the one of the longest day I've ever played hockey, man. Like I had to take the shoes off because my feet was hurting that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I came home the evening I told my mom, hey, I need the sneakers because I wanted to play hockey. You know, you know, she did her best, man, but she just never had it, you know what I mean? And I understood, you know what I mean? Like that's one thing when you grow up in a humble family, you basically see and you get to understand, hey, she don't have it, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? So,
yeah.
but she did try her best and she got me a sneakers. I started playing defense. That was my first position on the field. And I picked it up pretty quickly. And I was progressing so well that I started to be a striker, you
Mm.
know. And that's where they actually saw my talent. And I, you know, as I said, I got in at age 15, I played under 19.
Mm.
And the following year, I made the senior national team, you know, and
What are
I've
some
been
of the places you travel to playing hockey?
so I traveled to Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, most of the Caribbean. I've been to Venezuela. I've played international hockey for in Mexico, um, Puerto Rico. So you know, I played a couple places. You know what I mean?
You know, a lot of people that we were all at Earwig, we knew you played hockey,
Yeah,
but we never knew the depths of how good you were.
yeah. So Colonel Roper, one of my one of my
That's what I was gonna ask you. Hold it right there. So you went to the military,
yeah,
you graduated, you
yeah.
came to 3GR, which is the National Reserve. Were you
Mhm.
still playing hockey while you were at 3GR?
Yes. So while I was at 3GR, I was still playing international hockey. Um and through my entire military career in Jamaica, I was playing um international hockey.
So you develop a love for it.
That I developed a love, passion, and discipline
Obsession. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for it.
Okay.
You know, and it steered me in the path where I'm at right now. You know what I mean?
Well,
So, you know,
where in the journey you met Colonel Roper?
so I knew Colonel Roper since I was playing hockey because he's also a very passionate hockey player, right?
So you knew
Um,
Colonel Roper when you were like 15, 16.
yes, yes,
Oh
I knew
my
him,
God.
and I
Jerome,
played with his son.
I
I
never
played
knew
with
that.
Yeah, I played with his son, Rope Blake. So
Yeah.
we played hockey growing up too. So his passing had really touched me because we knew each other personally. We grew up together playing hockey and all
Time
that
out.
stuff.
Time
School
out.
hockey.
Time out. Jerome, I never knew this part of the story.
Yeah,
I never knew you. I knew you knew Colonel Roper, but I never knew you knew him from you were 15,
yeah,
and then you knew Blake personally. And a lot of guys at Earring probably never knew that.
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people knew that, right? So how do I get to Earwing? That's the next part I wanted
Okay,
to transition to.
I know, but what was Colonel Roper like when you met him?
So it was always this I would say father figure. So
Father
because
figure.
he would like come and watch most of the club games, you know what I mean, we played against JDF and he was a part of that team, right? And
Yeah,
he saw my passion and you know, and I was a very respectful person, right? And
yeah,
you know, they all like my passion that I brought to the game, right?
yeah.
And you know, I knew him from then, and you know, like I said, I've always played against him, and just the sheer passion and the love that we had for the sport, I think, you know, brought us. very close together, right?
Mm,
In 3GR, so we're 3GR, right?
yeah.
And so you got reserve, and you got on staff. So we were on staff.
Mhm.
Me and Cardiff, you know Cardiff.
Yeah, because I'm gonna come to that now. So where you got he played on the Jamaica team as well?
At the time, Colonel Roper was at
No, Cardiff, I'm talking.
yeah,
Because you
yeah, yes. At that time, yes. At that point, me and Cardiff played on the Jamaica team,
oh, I see.
joining Shijar, yeah. So we had that we at 1 year we had that inter-unit hockey competition. I'm not sure if you remember that.
I
I think it was
remember.
2008.
I remember.
Yeah, we had that inter-unit competition, and
I think 3 won.
yeah, we won it in 3. Of course, I'm on the team, man. Come on.
And we
But
were like,
here we went to the finals. Here we went to the
yeah,
finals.
and we were like, this is the first 3 won something.
Yeah, yeah,
It's because you guys were really good.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, 3 won that year, and that actually made the team to go on the Calypso Ups. You remember the Calypso Ups that we did in
Yeah,
England?
England, yeah.
That winning made me make that trip to on the Calypso Ups. So there's a lot of
So
memories
you
there,
went to Buckingham
man.
Palace.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it
So you
was.
have been to Buckingham Palace.
Of course, of course.
Wow.
That was memorable times, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Wow.
Memorable times.
All right.
So,
So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
okay. So after spending that time in 3GR, me and Cardiff wanted to transfer to active duty. So we talked to Colonel Roper and to see, if because again, he was already the CO in
Yeah.
Ewing. So
Yeah.
we asked him, if there's a possibility that, he could, assist us with a transfer or
Mhm.
help us. He told us to put the application in, and we it was a fight. You know what I mean? We put the application in, and it was a struggle from then. But he see to it that we got the transfer and came to Ewing. You know what I mean? Obviously, Mr. Barrett never wanted us to leave because,
Yes.
again,
Guys are good.
if we ever had if we ever had another inter-hockey tournament, obviously the trophy is gonna move to
Yeah.
Ewing. So we actually never had another meaningful hockey tournament after that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Where's Cardiff
So,
now?
hey, he made sergeant and he's in 2GR the last time we talked here.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah, he's in 2GR now as a
That
sergeant.
that's good that you guys keep in touch.
Yeah, man, we talked to him. I was in Jamaica earlier on in the year, about 2 months ago.
Yeah, I saw that you
And
went now.
yeah, yeah. So I talked to
What
him.
was, let me ask you this. What was the relationship like with you and Colonel Roper when you were at Earring, knowing that you knew him from you were 15 years old?
I mean, it was always love, you know what I mean? Always respect, and you know, it was always professional. And I mean, I think I get along with all the officers in Ewing. As you
Yeah,
know, we had a good time there, you know what I mean? Um, Sir Lundy, all the officers. I think I get along with everybody well, you know what I mean? But
that's
for me and Colonel Roper, there was just this special, because I remember we actually played in the JDF when I made it over to Earwing, and you know, just the comradeship that we had, you know what I mean? We did enjoy that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The connection, it was always real, you know,
Which
it was
year you
always.
left? Which year you left the military?
I leave in 2017. Well, 2016. 2016 and was on leave into 2017.
You
So my
left
real
before me?
date was in 2017.
You left before me.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I
So,
left,
so,
I left March 2017.
oh yeah, yeah. So at that point, I already leave. Um, my real day was like November 2016, and I think
Yes.
I had like 3 or 4 months leave because I never used to take leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, that pushed me over into 2017.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
Where were you when you get the call that Blake had died? Knowing that you guys played hockey together, that must have felt away for you.
yeah. That it touched me. I was in the military here in Washington, and it was Cardiff who sent me the information, and you know it really touched me, man. Like the entire Roper family I was very close to them, you know what I mean? Um, and I just couldn't believe that he died, man. Like, you know, that was a real shocker for me. You know what I mean?
You know,
Young career, you know, I think you would have made a really good officer leader because he just like he had the same exact trait as his dad, you know what I mean? Like, you know, determined, fit, fit. You
very.
know what I mean? And you know, it was just a real good person, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I remember talking to him, Blake, and I said, you're not going to be a pilot? He said, no, I'm going to SeaTac.
Yeah,
And he went to SeaTac. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Baran this morning,
yeah,
and Baran was letting me know that he actually was coming from Port Royal to go visit some SeaTac soldiers. That's when he
yeah,
died.
yeah,
Baran told me that this morning, and he was telling somebody from the hockey or squash team,
yeah,
like, 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 I gotta go to Port Royal, but I'm tired.
yeah.
I'm tired. And he went, but and like he fell asleep coming back.
The
Wow.
the commitment, just the sheer commitment of that guy. I'm telling you, man, he is a people person, and you know, like it gives you the sense of belonging. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
having working with him, having playing with him. I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
like just a comradeship, just a fight. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You just want to keep going. You just want to win, and you know, like I told you, I play with Colonel Roper, and I'm telling you, we are winning. It doesn't matter how much we're down, we
Yeah.
are winning. We leave everything out there on that field
Yeah.
every single time. You know, and just that passion, man, just that love that we have. You know what I mean? It's really inspirational.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're at 2016, which year he came to America.
Yeah, so 2016, get out of the army, come to America in 2017. So um I actually came here March 28th, 2017.
Yeah.
Came to America. So during my time in the military, every year I used to travel to Texas, right? Because my uncle, he had a mechanic shop there. And I used to come there every year to work, you know what I mean? Work
Yeah.
and then come back. You know what I mean? You know, we get a month and
Yeah.
something leave in Geneva, right? So every year I would save up that leave just to vacate the following year, right? So I used to back and forth every year. And then close to my run-out date, I was like, well, I remember Yvette, who was the secretary at the shop at the time, because they like our work, right? Even though I wasn't the best, but I was determined. You know what I mean? Like whenever I get a task, it might take me a little bit longer, but you know, I always get it done. You know what I mean? So, you know, my uncle always tried to encourage me to stay, but he also knew that I was in the military. And, you know, that would
Yeah.
mess up everything for me if I just leave, you know what I mean? So, you know, he understood all that, right? And, you know, close to my run out date, I decided, well, I'm just gonna sign off, and during my leave period, I can make a decision, right? So I came with the intention of you know, working with my uncle at the shop. Unfortunately, when I actually gotten through all my, you know, old processing with the JDF, and I made it to Texas, my uncle had already left and gone to live in Nigeria, in Africa.
Mm.
So and the shop that I was, you know, had the plan that I had to work in the shop fell through. Um, so Kemar, you know Kemar, right? My
I grew up
cousin.
with him partially, yeah.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. Kemar, I'm in general, man. So I was at Kemar shop. Kemar just opened his shop. So, you know what I mean? He never had a lot of business and stuff like that. And, you know, I told him that, hey, you know, I told Kemar, I'm going to stay. Regardless of how difficult it is, I'm going to stay. So I asked Kemar to ask Cool Runnings because they're very close, right? Even though I knew Cool Runnings, Kemar and Cool Runnings was closer. So I asked Kemar if he could get me a job at Cool Runnings. First question Kemar asked me is if I can cook. I was like, yeah. Well, this will be my
Cool
first
Runnings
time
is a
cooking.
Cool
So
Runnings is a restaurant down there.
yeah. Cool Runnings is a restaurant in Houston, Texas.
Oh. You guys are
Jamaican restaurant.
Kemar is in Houston.
Yeah, Kemar in Houston, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
go to you. Yeah, my sister is not far from Houston.
Oh yeah?
And
Yeah,
Kemar knew
I
my
think I
younger
think I think
Kemar
you
know my younger sister. I told him that Chantal is down there.
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I should have I think I should have Kemar on this program the next
I'm
time.
begging I've been begging him, but he's so busy.
Yeah, he's busy. But I'm gonna get him to get on for you.
Yeah. I tell him I would fly come to him. That's how bad I want the interview.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get it for you. So Kemar talked to Cool Runnings, and they Cool Runnings got me on to start working. So my first week, I was just cabbage, cutting up cabbage, onion, and like bell peppers and stuff like that, and peeling potato. Whitely, the first day, I came out with probably 6 band-aid and 6 different
You cut
fingers.
up your finger working in the restaurant.
Cut up my finger. I struggled because, as I say, you know, I couldn't cook. You know what I mean? And I struggled with cutting up all that stuff, man. It was first week, I started getting better and better, pushing myself, you know, until I started getting a lot faster.
Yeah.
Then Fire and Kevin, two Jamaicans who work in the restaurant. Fire was the first person who took me around the front and said, yo, we need a runner to start cook. I said, Fire, I can't cook, so you have to bring me on this already. But you know yourself. You have to come start the veggies. So I went around there and started doing the veggies. And at that point, Cool Runnings was pretty busy. And they usually run out of veggies.
Yes.
When I came around there the first day, They had so much veggies. He was like, man, you can't stop doing veggies now. I ensure that veggies wouldn't run out. Veggies and
Yes.
plant, jerk chicken wouldn't run out. They can't run out. And after the first week and a half for me being around there, they start having me around. They start having me around there as a line cook. That's how fast I progress through. You know what I mean? So from cutting up 1 week to the other week, I'm around there serving by myself, starting to do steamed fish, coconut curry shrimp, every pretty much everything. By a month time, they could have me on there serving, line cooking, doing everything by myself.
Yes.
So, you know, it's just for me, it was a survival mode. And I was
You have to do
determined.
what you have to do.
This. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
much
And
money you were making a week doing this now?
so he started me out at I think it was 1650, something like that.
Yeah.
1650 or 14,
Yes.
1450. I was on the lower end, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And
I think it did bump me up
you
when
just
I
want a
when I
foot
was
in.
trying to, huh?
You just wanted a foot in.
Yeah, yeah, man. Anything I get, I was willing to work with. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I worked myself in, and I worked there for a pretty good little time. You know what I mean? Chunk of time. Um, and again, I got married. Um, I got married really quick. Because I knew the girl. Um,
Yeah.
before actually, because I met her. She's Yvette's friend.
Yes.
Yvette worked with my uncle, right?
Yeah.
So Yvette kept asking me if I'm staying. So I explained to her that I can't stay because I would need somebody to get married to. So Yvette introduced me to her one night at a party at Cool Runnings. They had a party there.
Yeah.
And she introduced me to her there. And we talked, exchanged numbers, and I was supposed to go back to Jamaica 2 days time, but I invited her to a movie, which she told me, yes, she would come to the movie, go with me to the movie and stuff. I never had a car for myself to drive, right? So I explained that to her that, hey, I'm not driving, so you know what I mean? Because I'm on vacation at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was 2010, just before the incursion in Tivoli.
Yeah.
It was that time. So I came back for the incursion, right? So you know, she stood me up. She stood me up. She never
Hold on.
actually
Hold
came
on.
to the
Hold on. I get messed up. 2010 or 2020?
no, no man. In 2010, I met her in 2010.
Oh, you
That's how
met her in
long.
2010. Yeah.
Yeah. So we knew each other from then, right?
Oh,
So and I was saying at that time, I invited her to the movies and she stood me up.
okay.
Yeah.
I
So I
see.
actually came back to Jamaica on the Monday. And we kind of never communicated for a little bit. I came back to after the incursion. I missed out 2011, so I never get to come back to the US that following year because of the whole incursion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I came back in 2013, and we briefly talked. We never actually meet, but she knew I was there, and I met her mom in 2013. 2015, 16, 2016, Yvette started a Facebook group, and she added me to the group. When she added me to the group, I was like, I don't even know these people, right? But somebody in the group sent me a personal text message, and it was her. She asked me if I was when I was coming back to Houston. And
Yeah.
looking at the photos and stuff like that, we started talking again. We exchanged numbers again. Because all that period I never had her number. We
Yeah.
exchanged number, we communicated for a while. Been talking, and when I actually came up in 2017, I actually came and stayed with her. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, we meet, and I was living with her for a while. We got married, and you know, she did my paperwork and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and that was
How did that felt?
quietly. Initially, initially, I'm not, I'm open and honest, right? Initially, we were okay. I think we would have been okay. Um, you know, um, it was something new for me, but I I wanted a challenge, and I mean, I wanted it to work so bad. Like, I felt like I wanted it to work so much more than the effort that she
Yeah.
was actually putting in. Um, and I really did care about her, you know what I mean? But it did have its challenges, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It
No, I was
did.
talking about the when you got your papers. How did that felt?
Oh, so when I get my green card, it was and honestly, it wasn't even that bad because I came here in 2017,
Yes.
and by the end of 2018, going into 2019, I got my green card.
Wow.
So a little bit over a year and something.
Yeah.
Close to, yeah, yeah. So I got my green card, and in 2019 we started having a little bit of shaky ground and stuff like that. And I was like, things weren't really going according to how it was. So I was like, one day I was talking to this lawyer. Me and her is good friends. So you know um I knew the lawyer through Kemar and my uncle Glenn, Elizabeth, real good, real good lady. So I called her, and I said, hey, I'm going through a little tough time, and I just wanted to talk to you about something. And she was like, well, she have a empty slot. She said you could call me back later, or you could just come in the office. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty close to your office, so if you send me your address, I can stop by, because I have to pass. At that point, I was working at this company called Griffin Dewatering Company,
Yeah.
and I did enjoy that job. It's a construction job, but we travel a lot, right? So I
Yeah.
was traveling all over the country installing water systems, stuff like that, water control systems. So I stopped by her office, and I explained to her, hey, this is what I'm going through right now. This is where I'm at. And she was like, well, I think you're okay. You're just probably overreacting. And I was like, well, I don't know. I explained the entire situation to her with me and my wife and what we were going through and all that stuff. And she was like, well, you could do one of two things. You could join the army, or you could file for, they call it,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
um, spouse abandonment or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But at that time, we were going through that situation, right? So I said, so can I join the army? She said, yeah, you can join the army. She get me the number that I could call to, talk to a recruiter. And I called a recruiter from her office, talked to the recruiter sent me a link and said I should take it's like an assessment test.
Yeah.
So at the time, I wanted to join the Navy. So I took the Navy test online again, and I passed. It says that I passed, right? So I called the guy, talked to him, and then he told me I could come down by the office. He gave me the address and stuff like that. So I went down there, and he said, I went there. The guy said, "Oh no, you can't join the Navy." The guy told me I can't join the Navy because I was that citizen, which wasn't true. But
Once you got
the
your green
army,
card, you can join.
yeah, you can join him. The army office was next door, and he said, "Well, you can check over by the army." So I said, "Okay, that's fine." I went over there, check. It was the best decision I made, man. Like I went over there, talked to Staff Sergeant. I forgot his name. I had his name before I even came on the interview, and I forgot his name.
Because I
Talk
tell
with,
you, it's something that I consider. What is the age to join the
well,
reserves?
it's I think it go. I'm not sure. I can't give you a wrong, but I think it goes up to 42 or
Mm.
43. I think 43 or 44. One. I think you can look it up online. But
What was the process like?
okay, so yeah, the process now. I went and talked to that staff sergeant. I tell him about my military background
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And um, I took a test again at that office, and I did fairly well. He said I was a little bit weak in my math, which was true. And so he gave me 4 days to practice some maths, right? While I was working, I would take my lunch break, whatever break I get, and practice. And I went back to the office, took the test, and it was like, well, yeah, you're ready to go. He took me down to MEPS the following day,
MEPS,
and
what's that?
MEPS is where you actually take the actual test. Because
Okay.
at the recruiting office, they give you a test, which is they consider it a little bit harder just to prepare you for the test, which should be a little bit easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went down to MEPS, took the test. After I took the test, they said, "Congratulations, you passed." And then they, you know, give me a medical date after that to do a medical and then swear in. So I, you know, get that date, did the medical and swear in, and I never had to start training until another month. So within that month, I started to get myself into condition, hitting the gym and stuff like that, getting myself ready for basic training. They shipped me out to Oklahoma November 13, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the challenge there for me was the cold. Yeah, just I come from Jamaica, and the cold was brutal. You know what I mean?
So, Jerome, you
Um,
realize that you left military in Jamaica officially 2017
yes,
and
and joined
2019,
2019.
you're in a different military.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What was the training like?
I find the training relatively easy. Like I said, the only challenge that I had was the cold. I just couldn't get used to the cold. You know what I mean? Like I struggled um especially in the early morning when you got to, for PT. I struggled to get acclimatized to the cold, because it was like, you know, just I come from Jamaica, as I say, all right? In Houston, the weather was similar to Jamaica. It was always hot, you know what I mean? So my first time experiencing the real cold was in Oklahoma, where it was brutally cold. Most of the
I know, I
times,
drive through Oklahoma.
yes, man, most of the times, Wiley, they had to cut out parts of the training because people would get sick from the cold. But overall, the training was
Thanks for that. Thanks for that pointer. So if I'm gonna join, I would join in the winter.
in the winter. No, yeah, the winter wouldn't be the best, man. I can tell you, especially for the range. I struggle to keep steady because I'm just shaking, bro. Like, you know.
So did the instructors like, oh, he's a Jamaican, that's why he's not used to
No,
the
I
cold.
mean, at one point, I think one of my platoon sergeants, she just got promoted to the sergeant. She just got her sergeant promotion, and she never had a lot of knowledge, even though she went, because they have to go to drill sergeant school, right?
And you know
But
a lot of that already.
yeah, she struggled to teach basic combat stuff. Um, she struggled to teach weapons class. I teach weapons class for my platoon.
You,
Yeah, I teach weapons class for my platoon. Um, and a lot of the trainees, they call them trainees, they don't call them recruits. Trainees, they they often come to me for a lot of advice. And you know, I always try to motivate everybody. I see myself as a motivator. They have me as a motivator. You
I'm
know what I
proud of
mean?
you.
So
Let me
I
take this
keep them
time out.
motivated.
Let me just take the time out to acknowledge you to do that,
Yes, man.
to join the US military. That's a big honor.
Yeah, man. It's a proud moment, bro. Like if I could express how I feel joining the US military, I would have expressed it. But
How,
it
how long did you train for? How long was training?
the basic training was 3 months, and my AIT was
That's
pretty
not
short.
bad.
Yeah, AIT was pretty short. AIT was 8 weeks.
What is AIT?
So after you finish basic training, then they send you to your they send you to the training that you actually the job that you choose.
What
So
did you choose?
I was at 88 Mike, a truck driver. Um, and that time it was during COVID, so you know we got all over there for a little time, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I got distinguished undergrad um and in AIT.
wow.
And, you know, like I said, you know, I've always been motivating everybody,
Yeah,
and I push myself, man. Like I push myself. So you know, I was the top shooter, the top. Well, I wasn't the top in the basic fitness test, but I was like I got the third highest. I got the highest in the written test. And my overall conduct, you know what I mean? I'm older than these young kids, so you know what I mean? The
yeah.
guidance, you know what I mean? As I said, they always come to me for everything, you know what I mean? So and I was pretty helpful to everybody, you know what I mean? Whether
Yeah.
you're in my platoon, whether you're in my squad or not, everybody come to me, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And you know, they just see me as, you know, probably a leader, you know, a bigger role model.
what was the feeling when you march off that square when you graduated?
I was proud, man. Like I felt a sense of belonging. I felt it was really good. I was overwhelmed. You know, the feeling is very good, man. Like there's no words to express or proud of myself I feel, and the gratitude of being a part of the U.S. military. You know, um, again, everywhere you go, you're gonna have different types of leaderships. But
Yeah.
I have came across some real good leadership, man. Like some real good people who, and the thing is with the U.S. military that I struggled with a little bit was the turnover rate. So each time that like a lot of people you're in a unit and you would have a lot of people come and go all the time. So by the time you build up some form of comradeship or some form of friendship,
Yeah.
those persons actually leave. You get a different leadership figure, you know what I mean? So it's constantly changing, you know what I mean?
How
But
many are you? How many persons trained with you?
in my um in my batch, the training,
Yeah.
I think it was over. I don't know. There was a lot of people.
About
They have like it's not like JDF where they just send a platoon, a person, or two platoon, or three or four platoon. It's like it's just constant people coming in and out, constant. Like
oh, the
just
training is concurrent.
yeah. So you have
Okay.
people coming in doing this stage, you know what I mean? As soon as they finish with this batch, by the time they march you off, they're gone to collect a next batch again. So it's just constant coming in. You know what I
Wow.
mean? I never get to know the exact amount of people that I train
But
with.
it's
You know
over
what I
a
mean?
thousand.
Way over 1,000.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Like,
wow.
like, like, you could easily get lost in another group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody in the same uniform and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
it was a very good experience, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wouldn't if
Talk to us.
I was supposed to do it
Talk
over.
to us about it. Yeah.
I think I would have gone this route again. Yeah.
Wow. Talk to us about the abundance of stuff. Like, JDF, no
Yeah. The different, yeah.
disrespect, love them. Yeah. What is a total different country, first world. Talk to us about the abundance of stuff that if you want something, you just get it.
Yeah. So uh, so in the military,
Yes, like you want a pair of shoes, you want uniforms, you want
abundance and stuff.
backpack,
Yeah.
everything to work with.
So you get every piece of gear that
And more.
you want. Yeah. You get every piece of gear for the especially for the mission. Right?
Yeah,
They don't hold back on
yeah.
whatever gear you need that's necessary for the mission. You know what I mean? Um I've seen real good gears get thrown out, get thrown out. You know
Real
what I
good gears.
mean? Bro, like under no circumstances those gears would have been thrown out in JDF. Absolutely none. They just change them out, get new stuff. You know what
Wow.
I mean?
Vehicles, lots of vehicles.
Vehicles, a lot of vehicles. I was in a transport company, right? We had a lot of different types of vehicles. We have Opama, we have the Hemis, the one that transport the tanks,
Yeah,
the heavy tanks. We have a lot of we call them LMTV, light vehicles, PLS that
yeah,
picks up the containers. We do a lot
yeah.
of container missions, stuff like that. But we just transport everything. Like whatever, if a company needs to move, they get with us and we would move their stuff. They just pack it up and then we just pick it up and take it to wherever they wanted it. You know what I mean? So we were
Wow.
dedicated transporters. Like they just
That's
hot
where
like
you
so.
learn to, I don't cut you. That's where you learn to operate a crane.
No. So
Okay,
when I was in
we're going to get to that.
yeah,
Were you stationed in Seattle? Because you live in Seattle now.
yes. I was stationed in JBLM, yeah, in Seattle,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. And you just love it and just stayed here.
It was just yeah, it was my first unit. And like I said, you've been here, obviously.
Yeah,
It's not that I found it not as choked up or crammed up as it was in Houston, Texas.
yeah.
And the weather is bipolar, obviously. We get a lot of rain. It
Yes.
gets cold sometimes, but overall the weather is not it's not that excessive.
Not,
We don't
it's
get
not
a lot
bad.
of snow.
It's not Chicago where I live.
Yeah. It doesn't get that cool. You know what I mean? It get cool, but probably around the 35, 30s, you know what I mean?
I wear a sweater and a shorts in 35.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay, 35, I gotta, put on
because
some clothes.
because I get out of the car and I just go into the store and I come back. I don't
Mhm.
like to wear these long pants all the time and thing. You know,
Oh, yeah.
when it really gets cold for me is the teens.
Oh, yeah.
And then the breeze that comes with
Yeah.
it.
The wind chill. Yeah, the wind chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, we were talking about the crane now. So you learned to operate crane where?
Okay, so before I go to the crane, I did my CDL when I was in Houston. Just before I joined the military, I did my CDL, right?
Yeah,
Um, and I had it in the military, and obviously I was in a transport company, so I was doing a lot of driving with trailers and stuff like that, right? Um, in 2020, in 2021, because I was so I extended my contract because I wanted to get Germany. I was supposed to go to Germany, right? I actually gotten a spot there, right? And I was
yeah.
supposed to um resign whenever I before I go there, right? That was what I wanted to do. I really wanted to go. I had a lot put in place for it, like that's a path that I wanted to take. I went to JRTC. They got some. So before any deployment, you're gonna ever go on, they're gonna send you to NTC or JRTC to do that initial training. You know what I mean? Zero your weapon, stuff like that. You know what I mean? They actually send it to that training, send it in the box. You basically go there to do exactly what you know you probably do in real combat or whatever,
Yeah.
or before deploy. It's a requirement before deployment.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually got injured there while doing the training, and
Mm.
then sadly my military career just started winding down, coming to an end. You know what I mean? Um, after we got back, I actually had to do a surgery on my shoulder, and you know, obviously, I didn't get to go Germany no more.
Wow.
Um, got med boarded, so I actually had to get out in 2022.
Mm.
The thing that I appreciate most with the U.S. military, or the difference I should say, with U.S. military and JDF, when I get out of JDF, they never had a re-entry program, right? Even though in JDF I did TTI. I did
Yeah.
general construction, the diploma at TTI. I think my thought is every soldier engineers should have that opportunity to go through TTI as a means of preparing that soldier for re-entry into the civilian world. You know what I mean? I think that that's very important, right?
Yeah.
During my exit process here out of the military,
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to basic they had a lot of resources. But when I tell you a lot of resources, they had a lot of resources, especially here in JBLM. They
Mhm.
had a lot of resources for persons exiting the military. So I had the opportunity to go to school for 4 months. I did cranes and heavy equipment operator. So I have license to drive basically every piece of heavy equipment. I can run graders, dozers.
That's something I've been searching for when I came here now. Because remember, we drive everything in Jamaica. Because
Yeah,
I have a CDL like you,
yeah,
doubles, triples, tankers, and everything
yeah,
on the license. But I said I wanted more. I want a challenge. I would like to operate cranes, you
yeah,
know, heavy duty equipment, dig roads and all of those stuff, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. And it's fascinating, like learning learning how proper roads are built. Let me know that what they're doing in Jamaica is totally
But
nonsense.
they just don't have the resources back home.
Yeah, yeah,
They don't have the
yeah.
capital, you know?
Yeah, we don't have the resources. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, they spend so but my thing is they spend so much money to do it the wrong way.
True.
Why not develop, why not do less and do it the proper way rather than every time you have potholes or whatever, they
You
just
patch
come
it.
and just, yeah, patch it and just leave it like that. They're not addressing the root cause. Obviously, the root cause is there's no water channel. You know what I mean? The roads
Yeah.
aren't built that the water can channel off. You know what I mean? So I mean they just constantly having the same issues every time. You know, no
Yeah.
proper water channel is it don't make no
Mm.
sense. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Why should someone come to America? I know why. I just want to hear your view.
For me, personally, it's like a new chance. You know, it's a chance to start over. It's a chance to give you that I would say I don't even know which word to use, man. Like for me, it
It
was
just gives us a new lease on life.
yeah, it gives you a different perspective on life, man. Like, you know, the chance to push yourself forward and to achieve where it allows you to realize your dreams, you know what I mean? You can actually achieve the things that otherwise wouldn't be able to even see in Jamaica, you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you couldn't see it in Jamaica, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here, the processes are a lot different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way of life is different. The culture is different. You know what I mean? And I just feel like if a lot of people would experience different cultures, it
Yeah.
would, it can have different impacts on how
Yeah.
they go about doing things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just exactly how I feel. You know what I mean?
Jerome, it's been an honor to sit down and talk with you though.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
I have no idea how I feel to see you flourishing and you went and you served, Bridget.
Yes, man.
You can say you served in two
Yes.
military.
Yes, I did.
You know, and you're all left with outstanding record. You weren't discharged because of behavioral. No, you serve well. And unfortunately, you never get to Germany. But God is in control, and we know why you never. He know why you never went to Germany.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it's been one last word. You can take the last word.
Wiley, again, very good program, man. I appreciate you reaching out to me and having me on, man. You
Yeah.
know, sharing my life story with you. You know, we come from far,
Oh
back
yes.
in the doing days, you know what I mean?
Oh
You know,
yes.
yeah, you know, so you know me personally, you know,
Oh yes.
I'm a hard worker, man.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, I value hard work, you know. Some people might look at it
Yes.
as, you know, boy, he works so hard, you know what I mean? But, you know, when you can't make somebody else see your vision. You know what I mean? You have to
Yeah.
realize your vision, and
And
you
go
know you have
for
to
it.
chart your own way how to achieve it. You know what I mean? And for
Yeah.
me, for me, I appreciate the fact of the lessons that I learned
Mm-hmm.
growing up. You know what I mean? And like I said, I've always had a good background. You know what I mean? To push me through.
Oh
You
yes.
know. And like I said, the the persons who impacted me most was my coaches, you
Mm-hmm.
know, close friends who, you
Mm-hmm.
know, allow me to be myself, teach me
Mm-hmm.
the little small teachings, the little words that they always give, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I took those, and you know, I still to this day use them to, you know, correct, because you know you're never gonna be perfect, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
every time, every step you take, you remember those words, and you know you just push yourself with them, you know what I mean? And that's basically what I use, you know what I mean? I use those stuff, and as I said, Miss Andrea, who she played a real big
Mm-hmm.
Brady Bradba, Michael Bradba,
Mm-hmm.
another of my national coach, Michelle Holt, Michelle Collar.
Yeah.
These coaches play vital roles in my
In your life.
upbringing. Yeah. The discipline that I'm exhibiting today
Yep.
is because of them. You know, and hockey is something that I will ever forever love, man. You know, it
Have
gave me
thought.
a lot of exposure.
Who would have thought a young man picking in the coffee up in
Yeah,
the hills there would have not just traveled the entire Caribbean representing his country,
yeah,
also joined the most powerful army in the entire world.
yes. And I'm currently serving in the Navy right now.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
I'm still currently serving in the Navy, but as a
okay.
civilian, but
Oh,
it's
so you
still
can
something.
join the reserve in the Navy.
Well, I mean, you
Oh, you say you work in the Navy as a civilian.
I'm still working, yeah, as a crane operator in the Navy right now. So
Okay.
I'm technically still serving, you know what I
Okay.
mean? But
Okay.
just in another capacity, you know what I mean?
Okay. All
Yeah,
right, man. I'm going to say something to you off camera. Off
yeah,
It was an honor and a pleasure, Bridget. This guy right here, I'm gonna recommend this book, Can't Hurt Me.
yeah,
David Goggins.
yeah.
This guy he was a US Navy SEAL.
Yeah, I know. I've heard this story. I need to get that book for real.
Can't Hurt Me. He has another one out. He's coming to Chicago to speak, and you can't even get a ticket.
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
and we just want to wish you the best, Bridget.
yeah,
Greatness.
man.
You understand? Don't stop the way you do, man. You understand? We could buy up the property them and send
Yeah,
to the kids them, you know? It was an
Yes,
honor.
sir.
Because here's the thing. If we were enemies, or if
Yeah,
I wasn't nice to you,
yeah.
how could I reach out to you to do this, ask you to come on this
And
podcast?
tell you, man. And as we say, it's my pleasure, Whiteley, to
Yes.
share on your platform, man.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
yeah,
Because the ultimate goal is a show I want, I want a live audience. That's the
yeah,
ultimate. You're going up.
sure.
You're going up.
Yeah, man.
All right?
Tell that, man. You trust him, man.
Yes, ma'am. All right, everyone. Thank you for this episode. Thank you for watching with my friend here, Jerome Davis, the
Yes,
man
sir.
himself, serving not only the Jamaican military, but also the US military, which is a big feat. All right. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until then, God bless. Bye-bye.